What's up, everybody? Mike and AJ back once again here. I am very inebriated right now because we had, what was that drink called?
The Drunk Leprechaun.
And what was in that? It was vodka, orange juice, and blue...
Curacao.
Kimosabi, right.
Very good.
So that was one of the best drinks I've ever had in my life. And yeah, then I had a lot of dipping tobacco and a Modelo, and this is going to be a fun podcast. So...
And Carolina Reaper Cheetos.
Yes, which you weren't fazed by at all. But you will be. I'm going to make you eat that whole damn bag right in front of me. So, today we're going to be doing on this episode Leprechaun Origins. I know the Leprechaun movies are back, but guess what? This episode and the next one, and then they're over. It's finally over and done. So, I did not want to do this at all. And I was even texting AJ when we first started, and I was like, I don't want to do this. Don't make me do this. But this movie starts... And it's a fucking WWE Studios production. Are you shitting me? It was a World Wrestling Entertainment production.
They've been delving their way in horror movies.
I never knew that. That was bizarre as shit to me. So, my notes on these movies, because you guys know my feelings. I hate these movies. My notes are not very detailed, so if I skip over some parts, I'm taking it over to AJ. Especially in the next episode that you guys are going to see, Leprechaun Returns. There's a couple parts where I just stopped taking notes for like 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, that's all on you. So, you're going to start earning your damn keep around here, boy. So, we open to a man and a woman running, and something's hunting them. And it keeps kind of showing like the POV of what's hunting them. And it's got this like crazy vision, like this hunter's vision or some crap like that. We don't know what this could possibly be.
Funny thing is this, the opening, the acting and the scene reminded me of a sci-fi movie.
Oh, really?
Like one of those shitty ones.
That's fair.
And it's not, but the next movie is.
That is fair. So, man and a woman are running around. Man gets eaten. I already want to stop watching at this point. The woman gets caught too, and the monster's POV looks all fucked up, and I was like, it can't be the leprechaun at this point, can it? I was like, is there a separate monster in this movie? Because what it's showing seems like this little demonic monster or something, or this predator type thing. So now we get to this point where we get to the next part, and it's them on a back road in this freaking like chicken truck, and someone is reading a book on Ireland, or a brochure, or...
Though I will say the opening shots were great. Of Ireland, it was pretty.
It looked pretty, for sure. That's about the only good thing about this movie. So, they get where they're going. They walk around. They start walking through this big, tall field of, like, was it grass, weeds, hay, whatever the hell it was.
Ireland stuff.
Right, Irish people stuff. But there was this old man with a shotgun deep in the field just kind of watching them as they walked. And I was like, okay, this could go somewhere.
Well, he's guarding the obelisk, it looks like, the stone obelisk that they run across.
Right. So, gotta get a drink of water here, folks. So, next scene is them in a pub, naturally, because it's Ireland, and I got a little Irish in me, so go Irish.
I got a lot of Irish in me.
You know, I used to think, I think I told you about this, I used to think I had a lot of Irish in me, but I did some research into it, and I'm actually very little Irish, and a lot Dutch, and a lot of heritage from the Netherlands, so...
My dad's parents are from Ireland.
Right on. If anyone from the Netherlands is watching, what's up, my people? So, let's see here. Yeah, I think I'm like 16-point-something% Dutch, so that's kind of cool. So, my notes say blah, blah, talking, blah, blah, history, thesis, blah, blah, or something. So, if you want to extrapolate on that, you jump right in.
So, when they get to the pub, the local townsfolk are looking at them like, you don't belong here. And I think they kind of ripped off, you've probably never seen it, but An American Werewolf in London.
Never saw it.
It's the beginning of that movie. These two Americans, they arrive at a pub in England, and people are like looking at them like, what are you doing here?
Right.
And just kind of later on, too, like they kind of set them up to kind of just go out. And,
oh, okay. So that does sound similar.
like stay out of the moors.
So... This old man and son this old man.
Hey, Mitch.
He starts talking to him and agrees to take him to
see the Stone of the Gods.
That's what it was, which is a very cool name.
Which are the oldest existing artifacts in Ireland, apparently.
Huh. And so he takes him, and his son's driving him, and his son's a total freaking prick. And one of my favorite parts of the movie. It was hilarious. Where they were driving by this house, and they're like, "Oh, this is where we're staying, huh? Well, I mean, it's pretty run down, but I guess it's alright. It's not too bad." And he's like, "That's where we used to live." And I was like, "That's funny as fuck." He seemed offended by that.
I was thinking the whole time, like, I just met these two people. I'm not getting in a fucking car with them.
Right. People are too trusting. I sent you that TikTok that was like an experiment to see if kids still do the stranger danger type mentality. And that guy came up and he was like, "Hey, your mom's coming to pick you up." And the kid's like, "Okay, cool, bet."
I saw the same one.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you. And
Probably.
the kids were just like, "Oh yeah, bet for sure." And they just got in the car and he drove them and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I don't know your mom." And they're like,
I'll call the cops.
Right. The last kid that he tried that on though, he went to call his mom and ask about it. And he's like, "Yeah, you passed." And so
Gets in the car anyway.
right. Let's see here. Let's see. I just got a text from work, ladies and gentlemen, so sorry I had to read that for a second. I'll read that more later. But
Oh, one part that made me laugh is it was Haymitch or his son. He called the one guy a Nancy boy.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's like, did he just call me a Nancy boy?
I can't remember why he said that. The guy asked to turn up the radio or said it was something.
Said
He was
it's
bitching about something.
nice out because it's summer, and the one guy says,
Oh, right. He's like, "I hate summer."
"What's to love about summer?" or something
Right.
like that.
So, let's see here. I just dropped my phone.
Then they go into the background of the Stones and how, like, it was a thriving mining community, then the mines collapsed.
Right. Let's see here. So they get to the house where the people are going to be staying, and there's some rustling in the, like, bushes, grass, whatever it was. And this old man grabs his gun, and everyone gets really serious. And I was like, "Oh, it's just going to be an animal or some shit. There's no way the monster comes in this early." But the old man fires 2 shots from the double barrel, and they're like, "Did you get it?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't think so, blah, 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 blah." And,
Oh, and before we get to the next part here,
yeah, for sure.
Haymitch is wearing a Rolex kind of watch, and they're like, "Hey, that's a nice watch." And Haymitch says, "Yeah, some guests gave it to me because they appreciated his hospitality."
That's right.
And I was like, "Oh."
So I didn't even think anything of it at that point in time because mainly I wasn't paying the best attention to the movie. I was just watching it.
Well, it gave me that
existing.
American Werewolf in London vibe, so I was like, okay, something's going on here.
That's fair. So once that shooting happened, the kids were they're not kids, they're young people, but
Then, like, lower 20s, something
they
like that.
they were just laughing, not taking it serious about the situation. Like, "What was it? Oh, So they get inside, and I don't remember what they said to make him say this, but he's like, "Oh, there's lots of other things I could steal from you," and then he's like, "Gotcha, ah ha ha ha, fuck
Yeah,
you."
it was the...
Was it the watch that he had or whatever, or
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
I think one of the kids had a watch, like nice watch or something like that. So as soon as the old man walked out, he left his gold watch on a nail that was in the porch. And at this point, my notes, I'm like, okay, I see. I'm predicting he's attracting the leprechaun there to sacrifice the schmucks, or he's trying to lure it out to kill and using the kid as bait. I didn't know for sure yet. So then we get to the kids staying there at night, and the chick's trying to seduce this one guy, and she's like, you couldn't get away from all this. You couldn't leave all this. And he's like, "Yeah, I'd miss you, I guess." And she fucking just goes to bed angry. She's like, "Yeah, I'd miss you too. Good night." And so then we go to this other chick who's trying to get on with this guy, and she's on top of him.
She's now kind of famous.
And then, oh, really?
Yeah, she's in a TV show called Manifest on NBC. It's pretty good.
Okay. But then the dude passes out drunk and starts spilling the rest of his fucking beer out, and I thought that was hilarious. And then she's like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "What's wrong, babe?" Fuck.
Like, she's literally on top of him trying to freaking get it in, and he's just like, eh.
Right. So, one of the chicks hears something outside and stupidly goes to check on it.
The door is being pounded on in the
That's
middle of the
right.
night. And, of course, she goes and investigates by herself, because,
Right.
of course.
And so she looks out the window and sees something run by. And then she gets everyone up. She's screaming, "Wake up, something's here." And this fucking guy, I loved this part. He was like, "Yeah, there's stuff out here. That's why they call it the woods. There's lions and tigers and chickens and shit." Fuck's sakes. So They try and get out, and they're like, we're locked in. We can't get out. They locked us in. There's no way to get out. And I was like, okay, yep, it's a sacrifice, I guess. So it shows the monster's POV again, and he's got this like predator vision, like fucking orangey kind of hue, like it's this weird looking vision. I was like, there's no way it's the leprechaun. So then we get a glimpse of the monster, and it does not look like a leprechaun of any kind.
Not at all. It looks like a Wendigo or some shit like that.
And so it bites her ear. The creature looks all fucked up. They're all running, yada yada.
Wait, doesn't it tear her gold earring out of her ear?
Yes, that's
She's
right.
sitting by the fireplace, and there's a secret entrance in the fireplace.
That's right. So they escape through that secret entrance. This dude gets his leg all fucked up, and it looks gnarly and nasty.
Oh, and the one guy got his leg all sliced up and shit.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That guy got his leg fucked up, and he was trying to run, and he fell. And he's like, save me, help, help. And then they kept running, but this one chick went back to save him. I was like, oh, that's
the one couple just left his ass. I was laughing at that, too.
I was like, well, that's going to cost her fucking life going back to save him. But then she throws her lantern, and it turns out this thing has a sensitivity to light. I was like, that can't be a leprechaun, because in Leprechaun 3 or whatever, he was in Vegas with all the fucking shining lights and on stage and shit.
Maybe natural light.
Yeah.
I'm just making shit up here. I don't know why I'm trying to defend this movie, because it's terrible.
It's not as bad as the other ones, but for the Leprechaun series,
in your opinion.
But let's see. So they all get to this like safe house, and he's like, "Why'd you leave me back there?" And this house they're in has a bunch of batteries, and they turn it on, and it has all these bright lights outside. It's like a home defense, and it scares away the monster. So then they start reading a book.
But before that,
I was gonna say, I probably forgot a few parts.
The guy who got left behind, he gets mad at the others. Of course, anybody would. And the other guy's like, take it easy, bro. Like, you just let me to fucking die.
He just let me to die, but he's like, hey, man, come on now.
Go in the basement, everything's disorderly. There's piles of shoes, jewelry, and clothes and shit. And then we cut to a shot of Haymitch and his son, and they're waiting on, like, a hill. His son has doubts about doing all this crap. He's like, I don't know if we should be letting innocent people die. He says, oh, son, it's never easy. And then they're there to meet their friend. And it looks like they're waiting for, like, all this shit to be over with.
Right.
Leprechaun to kill everyone. Haymitch, what's the word I'm looking for here?
I don't know what he.
Oh my god, I'm blank right now. He reveals. That's it.
Okay.
I love booze.
He
reveals that he had been greedy, and the reason the leprechaun's on a crazy wild streak is because he had taken his gold.
Ta-da, motherfuckers! It's actually the leprechaun. This thing that looks like some demonic, skin-walking, freaking Dead by Daylight monster is actually the leprechaun for some reason. So how he turns into the lovable thing we know him and saw him as in the future, have no fucking clue.
The wise cracking joke cracking little Lucky Charm bastard.
Right. So, alright, so they start reading this book that says it's the leprechaun, and I'm like, that's still just crazy that they made the leprechaun look like it. I mean, it's cool, but I just want some explanation as to why he looks different. So, yeah, we called it about the sacrifice. So then they're like, the leprechaun didn't feed, they escaped, we gotta get him. So they go and they find him where they're hiding. And the guys have guns. And the young people have just melee weapons, like bats and shit. And like,
one guy has a machete.
Right. And they're like, drop your guns. And it's like, yeah, that's a real fucking smart thing. You're like 10 feet away from them saying to drop their guns while you just got melee weapons.
And their theory is that the stones are lined up like a boundary, and if they can make it to the stones, the leprechaun can't follow them out.
Right. So then they find out, or they hear the leprechaun's upstairs, and the shooting starts. So they're like, oh, he's here, we gotta go. So they lock him in the basement, and they go trying to fight it. And basically, they get out. The guy with his leg all fucked up's running again, and he gets outside and takes the bandaging off it, and it makes this god-awful noise, just skin peeling off the bone and shit. And he's like, I can't go anymore, I can't, blah, 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 blah. So then, there's this car coming, and they start running for help waving it down. I'm like, you dumb motherfuckers. The part after they escape the basement, the old lady that picks him up.
I gotta find where that is in my notes here.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
So yeah, she starts running after this old lady, and I was like, you dumb fucking bitch. Don't, like, the whole town's definitely in on this. I was like, don't try to get help from strangers. So, this old lady, she's got a lot of beer in her car, and she's like, oh yeah, you can go ahead and get in. And I was like, do not trust her, but I bet she sucks dick like a Hoover vacuum cleaner, dog. Yes, exactly. He's shaking his head in agreement. So,
Nodding, shaking is negative.
all right, well, you know what? Suck my dick. So, she locked him in the car. Yeah, no fucking surprise. No shit.
Of course she's in it. Oh, but before that, hey Mitch, he goes out to the barn and he finds his friend impaled.
Oh, right.
On, I don't know what the hell that was.
I don't know.
Some kind of farm equipment or something?
Yeah. So, they're all locked in the car and everyone gets around him and they're like, good work, Mabel, or whatever the fuck her name was.
The only name I have is Hey Mitch. I don't know.
So, let's see. They get out, they try and fight back, and they get knocked out. They get tied to trees as sacrifices, basically.
Have some gold put on them to attract the leprechaun.
So Leprechaun comes up, bites or rips a piece of her tongue off. I can't remember which one he did.
He rips the gold stud out of her mouth.
That's right, that's what it was. Then this dude gets his fucking guts sliced open, but it unties him, so he gets out and he runs off. Then he comes back and gets a weapon and sets them free. And one dude doesn't make it. He gets eaten. And while the leprechaun's busy feasting, they don't even try to attack it. I'm like, its back's turned. Impale it. Do something. Mm-hmm. But no, they just try and save him. And they're like, no, it's too late for him. And they run. And then they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to kill this thing. Let's go back to the house and lure it in and try and kill it. It's like, why didn't you fucking do it just then? So they get in the house. The leprechaun in that little like hidden compartment where they escaped from in the first place slides one of the girls through that hidden compartment. And they think it's the leprechaun coming through, so they instantly smash down on its head with an axe. But it's not the leprechaun, it's their friend. So they just split her wig. And dog, it's no bueno.
That is AJ's scene of the week. I laughed for 5 minutes.
He told me there was a part of this movie that was his favorite, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, yep, that's the part. I know
through the dome.
I had to pause it and text him. I was like, that's the part, wasn't it? So then this dude gets his spine ripped out. That was a pretty gnarly scene. Then we get to the point where the kid, the son of the dad, comes up, who's trying to sacrifice him, and the dad comes up and he's like, you did good work, Seamus, or whatever his fucking name is.
Sean, that was
Sean, that's right. And he's out of bullets at this point in his shotgun. He's out of shells because he tried to shoot the thing. But his dad doesn't know he's out of shells. So he's like, we can't sacrifice the girl. He tells her to run and points the gun at his dad. And the dad's like, you always were a fucking, idiot or some shit like that. So then he starts wrestling the gun away from him. And he pushes his dad down the stairs. Then the leprechaun goes down there and eats the dad, tears him apart. And the kid's crying about it, obviously. That's a tough choice. But it was the dad's greed in the first place to put everyone in this situation, so fuck him. But, alright, so then the chick, she says, fuck you, Lucky Charms. And that's a callback to whatever fucking movie said that.
Yeah, I wrote that, but it's later in my notes.
I was going to say, if I skip through anything, you go right ahead.
Yeah, so she gets in the truck and starts driving away. And of course, the creature, I call it the creature because it's not a fucking leprechaun.
For sure.
The creature is in the back of the truck, busts out the back window, and she crashes on purpose, and the creature goes flying through the air. Gets out of the truck, starts running away. Creature's following her, and she trips over a bag in the graveyard. I don't know whose fucking bag that was, but it has some of the leprechaun's gold in it. And there just happens to be a machete next to it on the ground.
Naturally.
And that's when she tosses the gold in the air and uses the machete to cut off the creature's head. She's like, fuck you, Lucky Charms.
So she chops his head off, and then he's back alive, naturally. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Do you have anything else to add to that before I give my score? Because I think that's pretty well wrapped up.
Well, she makes it to the stone boundary, and then she hears growling. And, of course, there's more creatures. As she's running away, the movie ends.
And Bingo was his name-o. So on this movie, it was decent. I liked the design, I liked it better than the other Leprechaun movies.
This movie was not decent.
I actually gave this movie a 3 out of 5 stars or a 6.5 out of 10. My
Okay,
highest,
so that's not great.
highest rating of the Leprechaun movies. So not great, but compared to the other Leprechaun movies, it's better than them. I'm ready to hear your score, good sir.
Oh, God. This movie was not great. It was not better than the first 3 movies. I gave this movie 4.5.
Woo!
I would watch this over 2 of the other movies, which we'll get into the rankings in the next episode.
And I can't wait to reveal my score for the next movie we're going to be doing. Haha. So, we will be back with Leprechaun Returns. You see that? You like that? We return with Leprechaun Returns.
As leprechauns.
Oh, wait. No. Well, don't spoil it. God. So give us a like and a subscribe if you liked it. Comment down below what you think of these movies and what you thought of this one if you've seen it. We're out of here. We're going to record this next one, which will be up in a couple of weeks. And thank you all for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.